Hi there. My name is Michael Tingue, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my motivational proposal. So to start things off, I wanted to give a bit of a background about what I believe that a low versus high need for self-esteem person would look like. So to start off with low people, I have this picture here, the I believe in me. This kind of just basically describes what a low need for self-esteem person would look like because they generally try to listen to themselves more than others, and they try to leave out outside impacts and resources and situations because they have a lot of control over their own behaviors and their own emotions when it comes to adverse situations. And then for someone with a high need for self-esteem is generally going to be a more outgoing person that generally looks to others for information and assurance and help because they have to kind of work harder to motivate themselves than someone with a low need. So they look to others to help them help themselves. and and then in these are basically the places that I see low versus high needs for self-esteem the most is in games, and that can be anything from video games to football games like sports or even board games. And it's pretty much anything that's competitive, and pretty much you see it mostly in games because people that are competitive it's gonna show the most variations in how people react to certain situations. And then to start on my motivators, I wanted to do a patient person with a high versus low need for self-esteem. So a low need for self-esteem person that is also patient is going to be on the extreme side for someone who is very calm, collected, and kind of knows what's going on in their life. They don't really listen to other people and the feelings that they have because they are at a place where they think of themselves as being in control, and they are up there on like Maslow's hierarchy of needs at like self-actualization because they control the way that they feel. They do not let their outside outcomes affect their feelings or behaviors whatsoever. And then for a high need for self-esteem person that is also patient, I chose this picture just because this kid is crying. Obviously, he's angry and he's having a bunch of people point fingers at him. And so, which basically means while he is a patient person, he can generally control the way that he feels. If he has a whole bunch of people telling him he's doing something wrong, telling him he's not doing the right thing, then his patience can only go so far because he still does have a high need for self-esteem. So if everyone around him is telling him he's bad, he listens to the people around him. So it will kind of exponentiate until he does explode because he values those other people's opinions so much more than himself. And then for an intolerant person with a high and low need of self-esteem, I want to start off on the low need. And this person's generally going to look like someone that doesn't really value the way that everyone else views them, but is intolerant. So they are not the best at remaining calm whenever you get compounded problems that arise because they view themselves as being like the best and knowing exactly what to do in certain situations. But when things continuously go wrong, they get mad at themselves for not behaving the right way. So they're still going to get angry. They're just not angry at the same thing. And then for a high need for self-esteem person that is also intolerant, these are the other extreme. They will get angry fast. They will stay angry fast, and they will be greatly affected by the way that other people are talking to them and telling them what to do because they value other people so much. So they get most angry because they have so many outside negative outcomes that are presenting themselves to them. So it's just angry, angry, angry. And then for the profile section of this, for a low versus high need person, a high need person is going to be very outgoing just because they talk to a lot of people. They're a people person. They're generally great communicators because all their life they've been basically listening to others and knowing how to communicate with them in the proper way. And they're usually very externally motivated, which basically means that they let factors that are outside of their control kind of dictate the way that they feel and the actions that they take. And then for someone with a low need for self-esteem, they're generally going to be a little bit more shy and reserved, but they can be quite intuitive just because they keep to themselves a lot. So they do a lot of people watching, and this kind of helps them understand others, but others tend to have a hard time understanding them just because they don't communicate that often and they view themselves as very high up there in terms of intelligence. So they can be viewed as cocky sometimes, or they think themselves on like a pedestal compared to others. And they are very internally motivated. Again, that just means that they have control over the way that they feel and they don't let outside situations affect that feeling or the mood they're in or the behavior that they might take. And then lastly, for my strategic implementation, I decided to do a company called Epic Games, and they have a game called Rocket League, which is this picture right here. And it's basically a car soccer. So it's really cool, and there's team-based stuff in it. And I decided that they could use my things that I've mentioned in my essay to implement a community-based network to where they can target players with their high need for self-esteem, and that way that all these players will come together to work together to get better at the game or to compete against each other, because at the end of the day, high need people really like to compete and they really value the way that other people view them. So if they're working in a big group and other people think you suck, well, then they're going to think, okay, well, I got to put more time into this game. I got to get better and better and better. And this will create a better atmosphere of competitive yet healthy community vibes that will allow these players to grow together and basically keep them around in the game longer. And that's basically a positive outcome. It'll large increase in the player interaction, which basically just means that all these players will be working together, be talking more. It'll be more of a community vibe that people want to go onto. And it's kind of like a safe space that people can enjoy together. While this is good for the people with high need, someone who has a low need for self-esteem is probably not going to like that. So that's going to be a negative outcome, because these people are going to want to play more solo and not have to rely on everyone else in this community aspect to kind of do their own thing. So it kind of leaves out a full group of people that might enjoy this game if it wasn't so community and team based. And that is my motivation proposal. Thank you for watching.